If you want to do one thing to help make this early phase of your new carnivore diet as successful as possible, it's this. And it's going to sound crazy when I tell you this, but just bear me out and hear out what I have to say. And that one thing you can do is to avoid carnivore social media groups. I'm talking groups on Facebook specifically, but also on Reddit. Avoid them. If you're going to be on social media for advice, go to Instagram. Instagram's the best place because you can follow all of your carnivore personalities on Instagram, and they will post news stories related to the carnivore diet, their tips, their tricks, little short video clips, as well as pictures. And in general, sometimes they will actually answer questions in their own pictures, myself included, by the way. I'm on Instagram. You can find where I'm at in the description box of this video. But I'm not pitching you my Instagram. I'm telling you to avoid Facebook especially because this is a huge problem there and on Reddit, and that's this. Carnivore groups on social media are not carnivore groups. They're labeled as carnivore, but unless they explicitly say that they are strict carnivore groups, and by strict I don't mean banning you from the group for drinking coffee, I mean that they actually advocate the carnivore diet, you're going to find yourself in a group where you're going to see something like this happen. People will post a question about whether food item X or Y is okay on a carnivore diet. And what you'll see are people who are saboteurs coming in and saying, you can eat whatever you want, you're an adult. They will purposely give bad information. I have gone after these people before in comments asking them why they're sabotaging people. And honestly, they stop responding because they can't answer the question. They admit, though, that the advice they give is not carnivore. And this is in practically every one of the groups there. World Carnivore Tribe, Carnivore Diet for Beginners, on and on and on. Most of these groups are not carnivore. They tell you that they will say, well, animal carnivores in the wild, lions, when they take down a gazelle, well, they'll eat the stomach, and the stomach's filled with plants, so you should eat that, too. One, we're not lions, okay? But two, that's nonsense. The carnivore diet is a diet with a range of what is generally acceptable to be called carnivore. Whether you're doing like ketovore, that kind of hybrid between keto and carnivore, where it's eating a little bit of asparagus or something once in a while, even though that's not a carnivore diet, but it's like the bridge from keto to carnivore on one extreme end, or you're doing the lion diet, which on the other extreme end. There are various things between. And then you get these adjacent diets like Dr. Saladino's animal-based paleo diet, where he incorporates fruit. That is a separate diet. It's not really carnivore anymore once you're eating those things. But the carnivore diet is a accepted spectrum of diets. And none of them include eating whatever you want because you're an adult. And you see that being said by a lot of people in these social media groups. You will never get a straight answer there. You'll go into the comments sections there and you will get competing advice from a lot of different people. So my advice to you, if you want to have a successful diet, is avoid those groups. Instead, go onto Instagram, follow the influencers you like there. Here on YouTube, go into comment sections, and you're better off asking questions in a comment section here and then checking back later to see if you got a response, either from the person whose video you're commenting on or from another person just who's in the comment section themselves. You're more likely to get good advice here than you are in those Facebook groups. Those Facebook groups are trash. And the moderators of those groups do nothing about these problems. People get led astray. They get told you can eat as much as you want and still lose the weight, which is not the way it works. That's just an unscientific view of how it works. It just doesn't work that way. Or you'll be told, oh, well, human beings are, actually omnivores, so go ahead and eat that one thing you're having a craving for that completely torpedoes your carnivore diet. Don't worry about it. You're an adult. You can eat whatever you want. A carnivore diet like any other diet, has a protocol, and you should follow the protocol. It's as simple as that. And if you feel like you need to go into a group and ask, is this allowed on a carnivore diet? Ask yourself this question: what animal does that product come from? And if you can't answer that question by giving an animal, that's probably not allowed. Coffee notwithstanding, people debate coffee and tea on a carnivore diet. That's a huge topic by itself. But beyond that, if it doesn't come from an animal, the answer is probably it's not allowed on a carnivore diet. Beef, butter, bacon, eggs, maybe cheese if you can handle it, depending what your goals are. Beyond that, that's what you should eat. Salt, too. You need salt, probably. Even then, not everybody does, but most people need salt beyond what's naturally occurring in the meat. If you remember that, you probably don't need to go in there asking questions anyway. And if you have questions, go into Instagram and comment section in like for Dr. Berry or Dr. Baker's or Dr. Chafee's comments or mine or anyone else. And you will either get a response from them or you'll get a response from someone else. That is probably much more sound than in those Facebook groups, especially Facebook. The places are just dangerous for maintaining a healthy diet and maintaining what you're trying to do. So please, in this critical early phase, either for you or for a friend of yours, if you're a veteran watching this, whatever it is, those Facebook groups are bad. The moderators do nothing. In fact, I think the moderators checked out a long time ago. They just let those places become essentially, clean standard American Diet Central with the carnivore tag for some reason. So please stay away from those groups for the first month or so until you hit the ground, really, you've hit your stride where you don't really need the help anymore. Then maybe consider going into them. I stopped arguing with people in those groups a long time ago. They really stopped being useful. Not all the groups are as bad as others, but some that are associated with YouTube channels tend to be pretty loose about mayonnaise and things like that. I'm anti-mayonnaise because mayonnaise is a seed oil. It comes from seed oils. Part of the whole point of the carnivore diet is to get away from seed oils. That's kind of the whole point. But still, stay away from the social media groups. It is like the one thing, because otherwise you're just getting misinformation. You're going to a place where you're going to be given misinformation. So avoid them. The carnivore diet is a range of diets that has a pretty strict, compared to most other diets, protocol, but it's an easy diet to follow. Just eat, if it comes from an animal, you can eat it. It's not that hard. But there are people who want to sabotage you, and I haven't figured out why. Maybe there are just more misanthropic people out there than I really ever thought, and maybe I'm just have a Pollyanna sort of worldview, all things considered. Let me know if you've got experience with these social media groups. Let me know what your experiences are in the comments, please. Like and subscribe if you haven't. It does help. With us sharing this on social media, that helps too. I'm Anthony Stine, Practical Carnivore. Happy New Year, and thanks for tuning in.